Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So because of some technical errors we had in our last lecture, we said we're going to explain this in a video. So here it is. Now we were discussing the translation of this abstract, and I told you that sometimes the original text or the source text says things implicitly that we need to bring to the surface or express explicitly in the target text. Now, as you can see, this is the remaining part of the abstract, and the sentence begins with بمشاركة 45 طالبا تتراوح أعمارهم بين كذا وكذا. Now, you can't, or I wouldn't say you can't, but the right way of writing an abstract, say in English, is that we need to clarify that this is the sample, okay? So we say the sample included 45 students, and you don't need to say whose age ranges from so and so. In English language, most of the things we can say in brackets, for example, percentages, we can actually use brackets. Sometimes defining factors like the gender, also we can refer to it between brackets. And you don't say in addition to 3 teachers, right? بالإضافة إلى 3 أساتذة. It would sound weird. So if we want to translate it literally and link it to the previous sentence, which says بمشاركة 45 طالبا. So if you want to say with 45 participating students, it doesn't sound scientifically correct or academically correct in reference to how we usually write abstracts or how abstracts are commonly written. And then it continues وتم استخدام الاستبيان والمناقشة كأدوات للبحث. Now, it's fine to use the passive, but I think because, you know, the researcher is the one who conducted the study and he's or she's the one who used these tools or used these study instruments. So I think it makes sense to just use the active form, but here you need to make sure that the researcher is 1 person or 2 or 3, because if it's more than 1 researcher, you're going to need to say the researchers. So the researcher used a questionnaire to collect quantitative data. So why did we add quantitative data? Because at the beginning, we said we shouldn't say this qualitative and quantitative study focuses on so-and-so or aims to so-and-so. We said that after we finish the first sentence, we write a new sentence and we say this research or the researcher followed the qualitative and quantitative designs, or this study is both qualitative and quantitative. Now here, what we did was because as to clarify or further clarify the source text sentence, some say, do we need to clarify something when we translate? I think the whole purpose of translation is to communicate the ideas that the original author or the source author wanted to convey. So I think it only makes sense to try to mimic the way an abstract is actually written in English language, or is usually or originally written in English language. So yeah, and then we move forward to وقد أظهرت نتائج الدراسة. So the study results showed that students find online learning makes learning English grammar easier. And then the last part, كشفت البيانات. So it's not just the data that revealed this information, it's the analysis of the data. So the analysis or the data analysis showed that the learning aids can be used and reused in different educational environments, or some say learning environments. Both are correct. Now, what I want you to remember is that when we deal with academic translation, we need to follow the rules of the language we translate into. The academic way of writing in Arabic is different from the academic way of writing in English. So being correctly academic, you're going to need to know the rules of academic writing in English and Arabic in order to be able to produce a text that does not sound odd, a text that sounds reasonable, maybe, a text that sounds natural. Okay, I'll see you in class.